ladies and gentlemen, to yet a new episode of Tea Angels Podcast. In this new series, Random Request Podcast, I will be talking about the topics you requested in my Insta story, so it's kinda like a Q&A, but it's not. Anyways, just to mention, I exist in Instagram, username at @there_angel0, the links down below as well. I open up requests every second Monday of the month in my Insta story. So if you haven't joined, be sure to check out my stories. The next request will be on October the 7th, so stay tuned. Of course, this episode will be much longer than my first video. And don't worry, I have my water ready to go to keep me hydrated. As usual, ladies and gentlemen, please be aware of my English, as my English may be worse than before, since my script is quite simple and I tend to improvise a lot. Thank you for your patience. Before I start the list, I would like to thank users @DenisTHX and @Aoshuwen for the requests. And let's get started! The first one is quite simple, how to get good grades. If I were to be honest, my grades are like those average people you see in anime. Kinda like Psyche's results. I don't spend hours reading or burn the midnight oil, since my level of energy and focus goes down quite impressively fast. However, I have to thank my brain for understanding things fast for me to pass most of my exams. But to get good grades, of course, the traditional method, study. But you know, those blogs, they'll be like, you may be studying the wrong way, here's the right way. I remember seeing that headline and I'm like, what? After a decade studying, you tell me I was studying in a wrong way? Speaking of which, if you ask me ways of studying to get good grades, then that's on to you, man. Ways of studying depends on your preferences. There are some who like absolute silence. There are some who studies with music, some who are comfortable in studying with a lot of people. I personally study with music and doing short notes, since it makes studying easier and fun, and I don't have to go through an entire textbook just to find that one point. Also, good grades are not that important, people, as long as you just pass. That's my aim every single time doing exams. 행복은 성적순위 아니라 BooSeokSoon! Although they keep saying having distractions and not studying as common factors in getting good grades. Wow, I wrote it wrong. Although they keep saying having distractions and not studying as common factors in getting bad grades. There we go. Don't you think the teaching method will affect results too? If I have to be honest, being a teacher is not as fun as you think. If you got inspired by animes like me, like Assassination Classroom, to be a teacher, it's really harder than you think. So, claps for Koro Sensei. Woo! Anyways, as I experienced what it's like being a teacher and a student, I found out that you gotta make learning fun and not be like an old woodpecker packing in our heads trying to get the information in without some fun. We enjoy it when learning becomes fun, and we tend to remember the lesson fairly well, sometimes even without recap. So I think this could be a way to say teaching methods can be a factor as well. But to be honest, study if you want to get good grades. Second one, self-confidence. In my opinion, I don't think everyone has 100% self-confidence. There are times when insecurity will just comes in and hug you tightly, and it's horrible, I know. And yet there are times when we just look into the mirror and we just say like, you beautiful sexy creature. Self-confidence is something you can attain after maybe you practice something for a long time, or you are raised up in a loving environment where everyone praises you. Just know that having both self-confidence and insecurity is good. For those of you who seldom or rarely have encounters with insecurity, let me just summarize it quickly. It doesn't take words only to cure it. It has to do with actions, lots of love, and the person itself. Your support to the person, your actions, your speech, it impacts him or her who is suffering from insecurity. And the person should also try. You could also try to change your mindset if you want, since to me that improved my insecurity at least. It's so easy to think ourselves as strong, but it's also very easy to make ourselves vulnerable and fragile. That's why having self-confidence in the right times is very important. Even I, who love presenting myself, can crumble down when too much pressure is given and I start to make mistakes. Then those mistakes lead to self-hatred. I grew up in where K-pop and Western pop stars were popular here. Yep, they were gaining their popularity in Malaysia and everybody was jamming to their songs. So I have two different beauty preferences for me to compare myself. The Asian beauty and the Western beauty. And people around me kept changing their appearances in order to make themselves shine and get a perfect significant other or friends for themselves, to improve their brand awareness, you could say. Therefore, I grew up being extremely insecure about my figure. Still, I am grateful to those who try and comfort that insecurity by showering me with love and praises. Thank you very much. I think having yourself surrounded by your loved ones or trusted ones, they could also give you self-confidence and reassurance. Also, having insecurity, it proves that you're also human. It's a small matter. Alright, let's move on. Topic number 3. Life of a millennial. I was born in the 2000s, so I'm still counted. Although they keep debating whether the 2000s should be counted into Gen Z, but I trust Google. So it says that I'm Gen Y, so hey, I'm a millennial. Like I said before, I grew up seeing the Western pop stars and K-pop singers rise to fame in Malaysia. I remember Justin Bieber, One Direction, they were freaking out, the girls were freaking out. I'm like, okay, what's this? And then Beyonce and Kelly Clarkson, they ruled my childhood playlist. And like Avril Lavigne, yes. And did I mention about the emo rock period? Like 5 Stars, Green Day, My Chemical Romance, they rocked it. And I'm still a fan of 5 Stars, so love you. For K-pop singers, let's just talk about how Girls' Generation, Super Junior and Wonder Girls, they suddenly got famous and everybody was dancing to their songs. And during 2012, Psy or PSY dropped Gangnam Style, and wow, that was lit. Everybody was dancing to it, everybody was addicted to it. And by the way, fun fact, I didn't know that Gangnam was a place. I thought it was just a Korean word. Also, remember the animes and cartoons we used to watch? Ben 10, Dora the Explorer, Avatar the Airbender, and like Ultraman, Inazuma 11, Crayon Shin-chan, Doraemon! By the way, how do you pronounce Doraemon? I'm kinda curious how many kinds of pronunciation is there for our Doraemon. Like, there's Doraemon, there's Doraemon. Tell me in the comments. I've witnessed the successful times and the downfall of artists. And great history, like how we managed to change our government for once, and how Dr. Lee Chong-wei slayed the badminton games. And also how Nokia ruled our childhood times. Man, I miss it. However, I also witnessed the incredibly rapid changing technology. I started learning more about augmented reality when I was taking programming and computing back then, during my college year, and virtual reality as well. I did not have Game Boy when I was young, by the way. Although I did play it once, I forgot whose Game Boy was that. But I remember playing Wii, Game Boy, Mario, etc. And the Windows pinball, damn, that's the greatest thing I played. Also like High Five and Barney, and Clifford the Big Red Dog. Oh my god, they were my childhood show, man. But as millennium, you kinda get the best of both worlds. We did not only focus on technology during child times, but we played a lot of old school games. I almost say high school. Why did I want to say high school? In primary school, there were games like hide and seek, ice and water, which was a chasing game, and Coca-Cola. It's a footstepping game. I remember mechanical pencil fighting as well, which was Tapi. It was really popular along with eraser fights. Thank you for the person who invented it. But you know what they say about us being the young ones, we're gonna be fighting for jobs. And we have a different mindset compared to the previous generation. For example, job hopping may be something my parents think that I'm financially unstable. But to us, it might be like, I'm just looking for the perfect job. Also, I don't want to get married and have babies. Also, we're good in making ourselves viral. I guess I was glad being born in the 2000s, as it was like a new era opening for the 2000s. We're going to take a break. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an intermission by Angels Airline. If you would like to know more about this channel, hit the subscribe button and the notification button below. We would recommend you to share around if you find the channel interesting. Special offer awaits when the channel hits certain milestone. If you have any complaints you would like to make, please go to the comment section or even the community section. If you feel your ears are tingling, it may be an after effect of T Angel's voice, so please adjust your volume preferences before continuing. Thank you for listening. Please enjoy the rest of the flight. Next topic! Why orange is called orange and apple isn't called red? Well then, at Auschwitz, let me tell you about my thoughts on language. Languages, something for us to use to decipher our messages and for the recipient to decipher. That's what my communication skills lecturer told me. Let me tell you, as a multilingual, I suffer a lot in this philosophical question. Look at Mandarin for example. There are no ABCs, and it's just a weird word popped up. In Mandarin, I had to guess what their pronunciations were, using how similar they were to the words I knew. For example, let's take a basic one. I in Mandarin is 我, which is written like this. And if I show you these two, you might guess somewhere like 我, but in different sounds or pronunciations. But no, this is and and like just the word ba, ba with the first sound, you can come up with a lot of words that sounds exactly like it but in different meanings. And can be used in all 4 different sounds. And like English, the true, rough, bow, cough. Why did I say cough? Cough? Yeah, cough. And like in Japanese, if you don't differentiate between double vowel and single vowel, it turns into another meaning like oba-san and oba-san. I'm curious, is pineapple called pineapple because it was shaped like a pine but apple version? And peach is called peach. Why isn't banana yellow then? The answers we may not find easily. Cheers for being multilingual though! Woohoo! And this suddenly popped into my mind. I never thought that learning Mandarin was hard when I was young. I mean, when it comes to classical Chinese, yeah, that's where it gets hard. But I just thought, okay, this word sounds like this. I gotta remember it. And that's all, since it was my mother tongue. Until I started learning Korean by myself. And happened to stumble upon some blogs saying how hard Mandarin was. And I realized like, oh, oops. So if you want your kids to learn more language, start from when they're still kids. Anyways, on to the next topic. Any fake friends? First of all, I need to know your definition on fake friends. You mean people who say things behind my back? Or people who will just throw me away? Or people who are temporary friends? Because there are a list of motives for us to make friends. We make friends because we're lonely. We make friends because we can take advantage of them. We make friends so that we won't get bullied by being alone. And I had a lot of short acquaintances throughout my entire life. Like, once we were in different classes or we are destined to never see each other again, we never talk. So, close friends or best friends are really hard to get. And sometimes, the title itself is just a title. Take my experience for one. I have a weakness, which is I like getting people's attention. I want people to know that I exist and don't just leave the conversation going without me. Because of that, during primary school, I had these two BFF, like best friends forever. However, now that I think back, I was like the middle person, just someone used to make their lives easier. Whenever the two BFF fight, my existence was acknowledged by them as they remembered to me about the other. Then when they're back together, I was forgotten sometimes. I was so attentive that I once thought of just breaking them both apart. I was also used to help copy homework and those. I'm sure some of you remember the days when your friends ask you to help copy homework. Thankfully, I cut my ties with the two of them and I went to find someone else as my buddy. They were too toxic for me to handle. And by the time I realized BFF, it can be just a title. My definition of fake friends are maybe people who don't have the intention to be friends, or instead using me as an advantage. But please don't take this to restrict yourself from having more friends, since having a wide social network may come in handy in the future. Opinions on douchebags. In the question, she wrote 渣男, basically douchebag in Mandarin. Although there's several meanings to it. There's like playboy scumbag. It's just guys who are bad. Yeah. But in this context, let's say guys who are messed up in relationships. A friend of mine had an experience with this kind of person, and let me tell you, I will hate that person if I see him. I'm fortunate I haven't really met one yet, but a friend of mine, Giphy, remember her? She told me that handsome men tend to be the type of person who are playboys or douchebags. Everyone has their own theory about generalization of playboys or scumbags, but my opinion on them? Don't go do things that a lady might hate, and please be considerate, or I will find you and I will kill you. Just kidding. Lastly, what is the best way for parents to connect with their millennial? I don't know. Literally, it says right there, I don't know. You see, my parents, they're from the baby boomers, and I'm a millennial, and the youngest in my family. Do I connect with them? Sort of, since my dad loved the news. He was updated to almost anything, and I pretty much ask him mostly when I'm curious in a certain aspect, like technology, politics, finance, or whatever. My mom, on the other hand, I talk to her more on my feelings and concerns, I guess, or when I had to face a kid. She's a gentle mother. Anyways, I was comfortable telling them what I did today and what happened in school, blah blah blah. And I think those are my conversation topics with them, to be honest. Because there are some things that I might be interested in, but they're not. Therefore, stuff like anime or underrated movies, I seldom talk to them about it, since they chase their own dramas, they have their own taste, and I have mine. I've written essays about how we should improve our family relationship, but to be honest, I'm just following the sample answers or what our teachers taught us and write it down. There are things that we may thought not to share it with our parents because we don't want to make them worry or any unnecessary conflict will happen. Therefore, friends and siblings are there for me to share my concerns, interests, or feelings to. It really depends on one, how to connect with their parents, but always keep in mind that no matter what, they're still home, they're there for you. I have a hard time thinking about this topic because I never really understand what connect means in this context, and a lot of factors may intervene. Do you mean like they will know anything that I do? Do you mean they talk to me like we're just friends? And I still think no matter how much you open up with your parents, you still needed that little privacy of yours. Then there's your growing environment, how you were raised, etc. So, love your parents, guys! That's all for today's podcast. Wow, my throat hurts. I'm exhausted. Anyways, I answered other topics carefully. Since it's a week after Malaysia Day, let's just say a happy belated Malaysia Day to our beautiful country. I really like this kind of random topic thing. If you wanna hear my opinion on a certain topic, make sure to stay tuned every second Monday of the month, or Wait till October the 7th and enter your request in my Insta story. My Insta account is right down below as usual. Subscribe for more video. If you like today's video, give it a like and share it out to more of your friends. And I will see you guys at the next episode. Goodbye!